So we clearly have quite a few things to be getting through today. Welcome to my November unboxing, guys. As you can see, I have been amassing quite the stack of packages to open for you guys, and we are going to be tearing through these today. So how many do I even have? 9, 10, 11, 12 boxes to open today. I don't know if I have the stamina. My endurance game is weak. I will of course start with a run through of everything that we've got going on here. So first off, let's talk about like the rep stuff, the stuff that was sent to me for promotion. We have 2 packets from Penguin Michael Joseph here. One of them is a finished copy of a book released in December. One of them is a January arc, both Romantasy releases, I believe. Very excited for those. In terms of the rep packages, we have 4 Fairyloot boxes, or 3 boxes, but 4 subscriptions. So if you guys don't know who Fairyloot are, they are a UK-based Bookish subscription box. They have 3 monthly subscriptions that you can buy either individually or as a combo. So I have the young adult box, which is a brand new young adult fantasy release in an exclusive edition with a selection of Bookish goodies. I have the combo adult and romantasy box, so that is their monthly romantasy subscription and their monthly adult subscription, which are both book-only subscriptions that come in exclusive, once again, special editions exclusive to Fairyloot. And then I have my favorite, I'm so excited about this one still, which is their pretty new quarterly Epic subscription. This one is a brand new epic fantasy release delivered to your door in an exclusive Fairyloot edition every 3 months. And honestly, even though I do look at spoilers, I do also promptly forget what we've got, so I am excited to tear into all of these ones. And then my final rep package is from Lunar Bookish Flames Candles. This is a big old box of, I'm pretty sure, their Christmas collection, which I think is only available for around a week after this video goes live, so that Manos can get everyone's orders out on time. But Lunar Bookish Flames Candles are a UK-based bookish candle subscription. They do soy wax woodwick candles, and if you would like to pick up anything from Lunar Bookish Flames Candles after watching this unboxing, you can use my code Becca15 to get 15% off your entire order. So those were all of the things that I have been sent to show to you guys. Now we'll talk about the things that I have bought myself. So we have 2 pre-orders from Waterstones. One of these is a special edition, a new edition of one of my favorite books, and one of these is my most anticipated, no it's not, it's one of my most anticipated releases, like sequels of the year, but not one that I'm in a position to read anytime soon. But while we are talking about anticipated releases, I have 2 boxes here from the Broken Binding. One of these, I feel like this one, because it's lighter, is their pretty new bi-monthly fantasy and sci-fi subscription. I am very, very pleased with the books that they've been picking for this sub so far, but we'll see what the edition is like. And the other one, I think this one is my most anticipated release of 2025. So excited to read that. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. And then we have 2 boxes from Illumicrate. We have another edition of one of the Waterstones books that I pre-ordered, and we have the dreaded edition of Mate by Ali Hazelwood with the dust jackets that I'm mad about. I'm actually not going to talk about that today. I've already had my little rant in a past video. It's fine. So where to start? That's an excellent question. I'm going to start with the publisher stuff. So thank you very much, of course, to Penguin Michael Joseph for sending me these 2 books to show to you guys and ultimately review. I recently posted a video that was, well, it was a vlog that was reading 3 November releases, and as I'm currently receiving quite a few advanced review copies from the publisher, I am hoping to carry that format forward, and the next installment should be in January, featuring my first 3 arcs of the year. The first release I have, I think, is actually going to be this one, which is Rings of Fate by Melissa Delacruz. So this is, of course, as I said, a January release. This is not the finished cover. I will show you guys what the finished cover is. This is, of course, the review copy cover, and this was sold to me as a romantasy, a classic style romantasy that is very Princess Bride, which is one of my favorite movies. So the synopsis on this one says, a prince, a curse, and a fate far more dangerous than falling in love. Princess Bride meets the Wheel of Time in a swoon-worthy romantasy from a #1 New York Times bestseller. Every barmaid dreams of a prince. Aaron just didn't expect hers to be cursed, arrogant, and bleeding magical ruin all over her tavern floor. Prince Dighton decent, is brooding, entitled and bound to the rings of fate, ancient magical relics that were never meant to touch human flesh. Now they're killing him, slowly, spectacularly, and when Aaron accidentally triggers one, she gets tied to the curse too. If he dies, so does the kingdom. If she walks away, she'll take the magic and half the realm down with her. Their only hope, each other. I'm excited to try something from Melissa de la Cruz because she was popular like way back in the day when young adult was the like main genre that everyone was eating up, and I feel like I missed the boat on a lot of her books, so I'm excited to try a Romantasy from her. And if you are curious what else is going to be featured in that first ARC vlog of the year, we have a hat trick for Penguin Michael Joseph. A hat trick is 3, right? I don't know my football terminology, but it's going to be in the same video as the Book of Blood and Roses by Annie Summerlee and Hot Desk by Laura Dickerman, which I know is already released in the US, but for the UK it's released at the end of January. So the other book that was sent to me by Penguin Michael Joseph is by an author who I've wanted to read from for quite some time. She has a very popular series and I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but that is of course Stacia Stark, her December release being We Who Will Die, the first book in the Empire of Blood series. Now I'll admit I have no idea what this is about. I requested this based on the fact that I do want to read from Stacia Stark, but it's automatically giving me Roman Empire vibes and we know how I feel about that. So this one, once again, I'm pretty sure is a Romantasy, but I will read you guys the synopsis. It says, life in the perilous Thorn district is a constant battle for Arvel and her brothers. When offered a chance to save her brother's life, she takes a magical vow. It will bind her to do the impossible, kill the Emperor. But to get close to him, she must enter the Sundering, an arena where only the fastest, strongest and deadliest survive long enough to be selected for the Emperor's elite guard. Guys, I'm going to be obsessed with this, I already know. As the stakes get higher and secrets emerge, she quickly draws the ire of the Primus, a powerful figure charged with protecting the Emperor, while also finding herself dependent on her Emperor's sadistic son, Rorik, to hone her growing powers. With Arvel's destiny deeply entwined with these two vampires, okay, plot twist, she must unravel a conspiracy that will change everything she thought she knew about herself, but only she can complete her mission and survive the arena. I'm not tripping, it did only throw vampires in right at the end, yeah? Okay, I'm not sure about the vampires, but based on Stacia Stark's reputation and also this synopsis, I do think that it is something that I'm going to really enjoy. And like I said, this one is a December release, and I do think that at some point in the future of this channel, you are going to be seeing another edition of this book, which I actually only realized after I'd requested this one. So let's go for something with items. We'll try out the young adult November Fairyloot box. Thank you so much, of course, to Fairyloot for providing your boxes for me to open here on my channel. I'm very excited to see what we have this month because, like I said, I've completely forgotten. I always feel like when I do my unboxing, because we're in December, I know what the December books are, but I've completely forgotten the November ones. Ooh, I've seen the Crimson Moth on something already. Let me just, dig a little bit to get the spoiler card for this month, which the theme is Venom and Velvet. And if you guys would like to pause to read the spoilers, you can do so here. But I, as usual, am going to be going in blind. And the first thing I've seen is a candle, which we do not often get in Fairyloot boxes anymore. So this one is the Creature Cafe Soy Candle, and the scent is iced coffee, 1 cream, 1 sugar. I do love a coffee scented candle, but I know from experience they are hard to source these days. So let's see. It does heavily lean on the like sugar, the sweet cream scent of it, as opposed to the espresso. But as I said, I do know that strong coffee scented candles are hard to come by. Next up, we have, one of Fairyloot's calendars. These are ones that kind of like stand up and they include character art in them. Let me just crack this one open. The ones that they've done in the past are, I think, the World of Sarah J. Maas, the World of Stephanie Garber, and then this year we have the worlds of Tahara Murphy. So this one, I imagine, is including characters from... Oh, I have a Tahara Murphy series that I like, right? Yes, this Woven Kingdom. I thought so. I haven't read the Shatter Me series though, and I expect that to be represented here as well. So essentially you have this little wooden block, and then you can pop your little character card in, and then afterwards, because obviously like these are only applicable for this year, on the back they have the regular art, so you can keep them if you so choose. And these guys have some very nice, I think, yeah, holographic gilt edges, but I'm not going to guess who the characters are because for most of them I'm not going to have a clue, but I'm going to show you guys the months. So we have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. Oh, I've just realized, I'm so excited. I'm trying to get this back in the box. I've just realized what we have next and I'm desperate to see it because we have a Crimson Moth desk mat. I actually thought that this was in a tube and I was really shocked when I picked it up and it was squishy. I'm currently using one of the Fairyloot desk mats. I'm pretty sure it's a Throne of Glass one because the colors go really well with this room. So let's see what the Crimson Moth is like. It's not aesthetically, it's not going to fit with the vibes of the room, but the Crimson Moth was one of my favorite books of last year and I love the kind of symbol style, like symbols from the book being represented on the mat, because the one that I have is like a full picture. Both of them are stunning and I am partial to a desk mat. It's sad that I do only have the one desk. Maybe I can just like switch between them. I'm pretty sure we just have the tarot cards left before we get to the book of the month, and this month we have characters from the book of the month and the cards in question are the Justice and the Wheel of Fortune, and then we do of course have the overlays that now come in every Fairyloot box that also go with the book of the month. So we'll just, oh, I love the art style in these, so nice. Maybe one of my favorite sets of Fairyloot overlays, if I'm being honest. So I do obviously know what the book is now, but I don't actually know anything about it. So we are going to explore it together. I also don't think that I know what the original cover looks like, so I'm gonna have to look that up. But the November Fairyloot Young Adult book is 7 Deadly Thorns by Amber Hamilton, and then we do of course have the bookmark with the spoiler card art on as well. I gotta say, I love the color of this. The green, I mean, can you tell I like green? I'm literally dressed head to toe in green right now. And I will overlay the original cover over the top because this is completely reworked, redesigned. I like that Fairyloot have kept the original style of the cover and just kind of reworked it. And I do prefer this one because I think the original cover has more of like a generic young adult fantasy cover kind of vibe. I love the sprayed edges that we have on here. We of course have custom end pages. Once again, I'm obsessed with the art in here. It's reminding me aesthetically a little bit of like the Coven by, is it Harper Woods? They are of course different on both sides. Under the dust jacket. Oh, I love this. You know I love me a printed hardcover, especially I feel if it has something architectural on. So I love like it looks like a school, like an academy map. And I love the style of the text on the spine as well. Underneath the dust cover, we do of course have the original cover in a different color. I don't feel like I've seen them do white before, which is interesting. I think it does go pretty well with the green, but I do prefer the original, but I do prefer the new Fairyloot cover in general. And then the synopsis, because all I've gathered about this so far is that it's going to have a romance in it and it's set in an academy. It says, I am the darkness my magic destroys. Viola Sinclair has hidden her shadow magic her whole life. Discovery means certain death, for in the kingdom of Aragoa, dark magic is forbidden. But when the queen finds out Viola's secret, she sends the royal assassin to kill her. He is given a cursed tattoo, 7 thorns on his arm for the 7 days he has to complete his deadly task. If he fails, he will be the one to die. The assassin is Rose Roclart, entitled prince, arrogant fellow student at Vandenberg Academy, and Viola's mortal enemy. The chance to strike Viola down is at Rose's fingertips, but he needs something from Viola, and he's willing to spare her life and fake their engagement to get it. Forced to work together, Viola and Rose uncover terrible secrets, sinister threats, and an irresistible attraction. Can they learn to trust each other in time to save themselves and bring the light back to Aragoa, a devastating enemies to lovers romantasy? You know I like enemies to lovers, providing they're actually enemies and we get those vibes, and aesthetically, like from what I'm seeing of the character art, I do feel like I could enjoy this one. Down in my comments, let me know what your favorite item from this month's Fairyloot is. I think that mine is, I like a desk mat and I like a candle. I feel like we have a good range of mid-value items in this month's box, which is cool. I personally am not a huge fan of this style of calendar. I prefer a wall calendar because I just know that I'm not going to be swapping these cards out every month, but I do really appreciate like the artwork on them. I guess we'll just carry on with the Fairyloot. Next we'll do the Epic, because I can't believe that I have forgotten what this book is, so I need to see what it is immediately, and also of course spy. Ow, I got my nail caught in there. I need to spy the edition. So the theme is whispers and wraiths, and this book is not ringing a bell. Did I even know? The edition. I need to look what this book actually looks like. Okay, so the Fairyloot Epic Fantasy book for November is The Tower of the Tyrant by J.T. Greathouse. Can we take a moment for this edition? I will of course show you guys the original cover. I don't know anything about this book, and I think that's why I forgot what it was, but this, I would be very surprised. Somebody, Broken Binding or Fairyloot, would have to do something very special for this not to be my favorite edition of this entire unboxing. This is gorgeous. Look at the edges. I think it's because it's architectural as well, which, as we know, I do have a thing for an architectural cover. The edges go all the way around as well. Damn, I hope I like this book. I would be so look at the end papers. This is the reason why I was so excited about the Epic Fantasy Fairyloot subscription specifically, because I know that aesthetically their editions are always on point, which is why I'm a little bit more wary of the Broken Binding ones. I think that the Broken Binding book selection is going to be amazing, but I don't think they can beat Fairyloot for the aesthetics of the editions, in my opinion. Anyway, carrying on with this. Oh, we have a map on the hardcover with foiling as well. Underneath we have, oh, I like that they've done the original cover in a different colorway, but I like that they've brought it down to match the color of their edition. I do like the color scheme on the original edition, but I think based on the cover I wouldn't pick it up like the normal one. I'm so excited about this. So synopsis, because like I said, I don't know anything about this book. It says, a land divided, a history inked in blood, one sorceress's quest for answers. The world beyond the city of the wise is fraught with danger, but Fola, a talented sorceress who has left the safety of its walls, is unconcerned. She's on the hunt for magical remnants left behind by the first folk, ancient beings who are but the whisper of a memory. Only by finding them might she uncover the secrets to their power and a way to pull the Riven lands out of darkness. Danger lies ahead for Fola, however she feels about it, and when events conspire to drag her into a cursed kingdom to investigate the death of its king, she's soon faced by threats from both the living and the dead. Fola will need to rely on her wits, her magic, and her unlikely friends if she's going to survive. There is always hope no matter how dark things get, and three things remain true above all else. Fellowship is stronger than isolation, the past will come back to haunt you, and nothing stays a secret forever. So, sounds good to me. I ain't mad about it. This one is a Glanx book, and I'm not sure if it's a debut, but I can't see any, do you know the page that tells you everything else that an author has written? I can't see this in here. Oh no, this is not a debut. J.T. Greathouse has another trilogy, at least, because they talk about it in the letter. Oh, The Hand of the Sun King. Okay, I'm excited about this one. And is it mainly because of the edition? 100%. The synopsis does sound good as well though. So to round out the Fairyloots, we have the combo Romantasy and Adult box. I actually kind of love that I forget the editions because every box at this point is a surprise. This is actually the last surprise because I know what everything else is. But the first book that we have is, I think, the Romantasy, based on the theme, and the theme in question is Love is the Key, and I have remembered what this book is now. So if you guys don't know, Fairyloot have launched their own publishing imprint, which is called Wayward Transworld, I think, because it's like in conjunction with Transworld. I don't know exactly how these things work, but I know that they have their own publishing imprint, and I'm pretty sure that this is the first box that has been in one of their subscriptions. They have done a Wayward book, I think, as a extra edition that you can buy, but I think that this is the first one that's come in a subscription, and I've been hearing pretty good things about it. I've seen a lot of arcs flying around, so I'm excited to give it a try. But let's have a look at the edition. I don't actually think I know what the cover of this book looks like. I think I just know what the arc looks like. Oh, I like it. I like the moody navy vibes. Oh, the original cover is the red one. Okay, I've only really seen the silver arc of this. I definitely prefer this one. We have printed edges with a floral theme. The end papers, printed and foiled. Not my favorite end papers. You know how I feel about foiling on end papers though. Sometimes I think it's like, I personally, if you ask me what my ideal edition would have, it wouldn't have foiling on the end papers. It's not a standout inclusion for me, but it's fine. Ooh. Also foiling on the hardcover, the naked hardcover, we know I don't care about as much, but it does depend how it's done. And then under the dust jacket, is this the original edition? The original cover? Is this another exclusive one? I'm pretty sure that yes, this is another different cover, because this isn't the normal cover, and I think the illustrator is the same one as Godkiller, Tom Roberts. Am I right? I think I'm right. I am right. So in terms of the synopsis of this, I don't know too much about it. I do obviously know it's Romantasy, it's in the Romantasy box, but the synopsis says, a deadly prison, a forbidden romance, a fight for survival. In the city of Davidium, the law is simple. Commit a crime and your punishment is a life sentence in Endlock. Raventhorn is Davidium's most notorious bounty hunter, living on the edge of society. But when her younger brother Jed is sentenced to Endlock, Raven will do anything to save him, even if it means getting herself arrested. Trapped in a prison where danger lurks around every corner, her, Raven must use all her cunning and strength to protect Jed and herself if she is to complete her perilous mission. But there's one obstacle she never expected. The prison guard who stirs something deep inside her, the man she should hate. The man whose true motives seem impossible to pin down. In a world where trust is a weapon and love is a liability, Raven can't afford for her heart to get involved. I am here for the vibes, like the dynamics of the romance. I feel like it is going to be one I enjoy, and I hope I do, because this will be the first Wayward book that I pick up as well. Oh, that one's got a nice spine as well. Oh, does this match Heavenly Bodies? No. It matches the one that has art by the same person. Air of Storms, is it? Does it match the spine of Air of Storms? I think it does. I need to fact check. Oh, it matches the spine of both Rose in Chains and Air of Storms. Guys, it's getting hot in here and I don't even think we're halfway through, but the final fairy loot that we have is the adult fantasy subscription. This one, I've just seen who the author is. I've recently read a book by this author, but one that's in a very different vibe. And I did say when I read that book that I'm more interested in that style of book from this author than I am this style of book from this author. So we'll see how it plays out, because this will actually be the first book in this style from this author that I've read. But the theme, well, I haven't read it, but hopefully I will. The theme for this month is Fated to Fall. And the book is, of course, Fallen City by Adrian Young. And damn, is this my new favourite edition of this video. Fairyloot, what are you doing? What are you doing? I can't choose. This is gorgeous and very different from the original, which I'll be honest, it's a fine cover, but it's not one that I would be interested in picking up. I'm obsessed with this one. Black and gold, man. Black and gold will get me every time. I'm sorry, I'm freaking out. Oh, look at the bag. So I'm just gonna give you a close-up of that because I am actually obsessed. The black and gold, as well as the kind of Renaissance vibes, would you say? Like celestial Renaissance wraps around onto the edges. The end papers, that's the Taurus symbol right here. I feel represented. They are, of course, different on each side. Damn, I hope I love Adrian Young now. And then underneath, obsessed. And then this is the original cover. But this cover does nothing for me. It's not appealing to me. This one, sign me up. So the synopsis on this one, like I said, I'm not particularly drawn to this type of fantasy by Adrian Young, so I don't actually know what this is about. It says, in the great walled city of Isara, political turmoil ignites a rebellion 100 years in the making. But when a legionnaire, guys, falls in love with a magistrate's daughter, their love will threaten the fate of the city and the will of the gods. I actually think I should have been interested in this. I think my issue is that this looks like Greek mythology, and Greek mythology, we've discussed this in different videos, tends to skew a little literary for my tastes, and I don't tend to enjoy it, so I think I'd kind of written this one off. But anyway, I'll continue. Luca Mateus has one purpose: to carry on the family name, maintaining its presence in the forum once his powerful and cruel uncle dies. But his noviceship with the city's philosopher places him in the middle of a catastrophe that will alter the destiny of his people. Maris Casperia was raised amidst the strategic maneuvers of the Citadel's inner workings, and she knows what her future holds: a lifetime of service to a corrupt city. But her years of serving as a novice to the last priestess who possesses the stolen magic of the old war has made her envision a different kind of future for the city. When she meets Luca, a fated chain of events is set into motion that will divinely entangle their lives. As a secret comes to light and throws the city into chaos, Luca and Maris hatch a plot to create a calculated alliance that could tip the scales of power. But when an execution forces Luca to become the symbol of rebellion, he and Maris are thrown into opposite sides of a holy war. As their fates diverge, they learn they are at the center of a story the gods are writing, and even if they can find their way back to each other, there may be nothing left. Sign me up. Thank you so much, Fairyloot, for putting this into my hands, because I actually would not have even looked into this based on what I thought it was from the cover. And this gorgeous edition, two of the most beautiful editions of the year, I think, from Fairyloot in this selection. So how about some Illumicrate? We will start off with the Illumicrate edition of Mate by Ali Hazelwood, or the Afterlight edition, should I say, with the add-on dust jackets for Bride and Mate. I actually really wanted to read Bride before Mate was released, because I'm still, while I love Ali Hazelwood, I'm not a paranormal girly, so I don't know if this series is going to be for me. but I don't want an incomplete Ali Hazelwood collection until I am sure. But this is the sequel to Bride, and from what I've heard watching people read this, Fall Into Staff being one of them, I think that you do need to read Bride to go into this. They do continue on from each other, even though this is a different romance. So is this an exclusive cover from Illumicrate? I don't know, because I'm not keeping this one on anywhere. But we have a nice printed edge here. We do have end papers, different on both sides. We have a printed hardcover. I do really like these. I do prefer the more simplistic design of the contemporary Ali Hazelwood books though. And then for the dust jackets, these ones are in keeping with the contemporary covers, which is why I added them on. Still don't know why we can't just print them on the inside of the dust jacket, but here we are. This is the one for me. It sucks as well because I just really like this style of cover. And then this is the one for Bride. So I don't know if I can read you guys the synopsis. I feel like I can because it's more of a romance than it is. It's like a fantasy. So let me have a look. I'm not going to, just to be on the safe side, but what I know about this series from Ali Hazelwood is that it is very light Omegaverse, and this one in particular is a romance between a human were hybrid and another wolf who is an alpha of a pack. It's the vampires and werewolves vibe of this, especially werewolves, that makes me unsure if I'm going to enjoy it. But everything I have read from Ali Hazelwood before that is a like full-length book, I've given 5 stars to. So I definitely would like to give these a try, because if anyone's going to sell paranormal romance to me, I feel like it's going to be Ali Hazelwood. The other Illumicrate box that I have is the final book in a series by one of my favorite authors. I'm not up to date on this series, unfortunately. I haven't read book 2, and this series is included in my reread and resume project, where I'm rereading the first book in series like I've read before, so that I can continue on and hold myself accountable to read the sequels in a timely manner. This one I couldn't do until this book was released, so I'm very happy to have it in my hands. And I have previously collected all of the UK editions of this series, and this one is my favorite, which is the Illumicrate edition of Empire of the Dawn by G. Christoph. So this one is a story that is like part The Name of the Wind, part Interview with the Vampire, and we are following the last Silver Saint, who is a legendary vampire hunter. It's set in this world where eternal night has fallen. The vampires have manufactured this, so they now rule the earth. They've captured the final Silver Saint, and they are forcing him to tell his story so that they can record it, as he is the last of this prestigious order. So the narrative is in 3 timelines. We're following him in present day when he's been captured, telling his story. We're following him when he started out and how he got into the Silver Saint, and we're following him on his most important mission, which is to find the vampire's holy grail a little bit later in his life. So I love the gold Illumicrate editions, mainly because of the edges, I feel, but I just think that they're absolutely stunning. They have a signed end paper on them, and they have different house sigils under the cover. The back of this one says "The wolf frets not for the ills of the worm." Really excited to get to this one. Nevernight by G. Christoph is one of my favorite series. I did enjoy Empire of the Vampire, but at this point in the series that I'm up to, I do prefer Nevernight, so I'm excited to see what the rest of the series has in store, because these books are significantly thicker than Nevernight is. And the cool thing about these as well is that they do have like full page illustrations. Can't find a single one now, like so, but I do think that the artist has changed for the final book, which is sad, but what can you do about it? Also a very beautiful edition. I think that if Fairyloot hadn't done such a good job on these two, then Empire of the Dawn would have been my favorite edition of the stack. So while we're talking about Empire of the Dawn, I do also have the Waterstones edition. This is my reading copy, so this is the one that I will actually read. I have the rest of the Waterstones editions up here. This is like my vanity copy because they're just so beautiful. And this one is just, I'm pretty sure this is just the normal cover. I do like that it's kind of now I can't pick this up, a reverse of this one, although I do think that this might stand out very dramatically against the other two. But this one is, considering it's a Waterstones edition, it does have a different sigil on the cover, but that literally just the solid black sprayed edge is the only thing that's special about this one, which is why these are the ones that I have for reading. And then we may as well do my other Waterstones parcel. So excited about this. This is a copy of my favorite book, well, the first book in my favorite series of all time. The first book is not my favorite book in the series, series. This is my 4th copy of this book. I want to say it's one of the more beautiful copies of this book. They charged me for this book in November and it isn't released until December. I don't know what date, but I have it in my hands. And it is, of course, the slipcase edition of Red Rising. I have actually seen these in person before because if you missed my most recent vlog, I did have the opportunity to go down to London and meet Pierce Brown and make content with him. And we did like a little Q&A that you're going to see coming up. There's a snippet of it in my vlog, but you'll see little other bits of it on the Hodder socials at some point in the future. But he was also there to sign some of these, so I have seen what it looks like in real life, and it is as beautiful as I anticipated. I think that the art that they've used for this is perfect. I am not the biggest fan of EO, not my favorite character at all, but I am obsessed with this. I think it is gorgeous. The back of this says, my love, remember the cries when the winter died for spring skies. On the actual book itself, we have Darrow, and then on the back we have like Helldiver Darrow, and on the front is like Gold Darrow. We have the map of the solar system on the end papers. For like a standard edition, or like, not like a standard edition, but you know, not like a book box edition, I'm obsessed with this. It has like a very simple printed edge that just matches the background of the cover of the book. It also has, is it just a, this is weird, is this a pullout? Okay, I don't want to tear this. I think that this is the Institute, which is cool. I didn't realize it would have this. So if you guys don't know what Red Rising is, it is a space opera. It is an epic sci-fi series that has like a dystopian origin. Like the first book very much reads like a dystopian. A lot of misguided people think that this series is young adult. It is absolutely not. The first book, Darrow is quite young, but past the first book, it doesn't even resemble a young adult series. So it's really funny whenever I see that. But along with the dystopian setup and the fact that the majority of this takes place, well, all of it takes place in space, but it gets more spacey after book 1, it also reads like a military fantasy. So we are set in a solar system with a hierarchical system, but we are following Darrow, who is a red, and the reds are right at the bottom of this hierarchy, but they don't know that. They think that they are mining for this very valuable substance that will allow humans to terraform the solar system. But what Darrow discovers very abruptly is that the solar system has been terraformed for a very long time, and his people are being kept in slavery to continue mining for this valuable substance. And he joins a rebellion with the plan to infiltrate the golds, which are right at the top of this hierarchical system, from the inside. So he becomes a gold himself to be able to do that. And he's a very morally grey man. There's a lot of betrayal, a lot of death. And if you have not read Red Rising yet, guys, what are you doing on this channel? Read Red Rising, it's a must. They do have graphic audiobooks for this. I would recommend the regular audiobooks and reading along at the same time, because I love physically reading this, but the audio performance on the regular audiobooks is unparalleled. So I'd recommend just doing both at the same time so you get the best of both worlds. I have so many amazing editions here today, guys. I actually can't cope with how gorgeous this stack of books is. We have been going so long that I drained an entire battery, but we have 3 boxes left. So I'm going to be diving in to the Lunar Bookish Flames Christmas collection. I'm really excited about this because I'm currently burning, I think this one. It's now behind these, and I've kept them at a safe distance. Don't worry, no books will be set on fire during the making of this video. But I think I'm burning either one of the Halloween ones or one of the Twilight ones at the minute. But as you can see, I put some decorations up. I'm feeling festive, and I need the festive scents to replicate that. Now, Manos, getting a bit too big for his boots, did message me and say that he thinks that I'm going to love every single one of these. And you know what? I think he could be right, because Christmas is a wonderful season for vanilla scents, for sweet scents. And so I feel like there's a very good chance that this box could be a hit with me. I need assistance. So as usual, this box is full, but what I'm going to do is take all of them out, so many in here, so that I can put the wrapping in the box as I'm going along. I feel like that would be a smart thing to do. I'm not counting as I'm going, but damn, this is a lot. Diving into this massive pile I've now just made, this one is one of the larger candle tins from Lunar Bookish Flames. I think that this one is an 8-ounce tin. The theme on this one is the night before Christmas, and the scent is a lemon zest, orange, cinnamon, ginger, thyme, nutmeg. Maybe a very classic spicy Christmas scent. I do love a white on white candle with the glitter. This is a Christmas candle, like a Christmas candle, you know what I'm saying? Instant favorite. Christmas pudding assuming this is going to be a Christmas pudding scent. Sultanas, figs, apple, cinnamon, almond, orange, and brandy. Ooh, yes. Does this have apple? Yeah. It has like an undertone of baked apple. Instant favorite. Okay, Manos, you might have been right. We're 2 for 2 so far. This one is one of their smaller candle tins, and it is Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. Not a Home Alone fan, sorry guys. Haven't even really watched it since I was a kid, and even that was accidentally. I know everyone's gonna unsubscribe now, but anyway, this is cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, ginger, woods, creamy vanilla, and smoky tobacco. Oh, it's a little bit lighter, but still very, very good. Yes. Maybe not like favorite, but I do very much enjoy that. For the large candle tins again, we have Christmas TBR, apple, nutmeg, cinnamon, clove, and musk. Yes, oh my god. Oh, I love the like Christmas colours on the glitter. That's an apple candle. That is an apple candle. We know that I love those. Ho ho ho. Apple, pear, rhubarb, nectarine, cinnamon, caramelized sugar, and vanilla. Yes, this is like, has more of like an all-round fruity scent. Not one that I would say is like a Christmas candle, like a classic Christmas scent, but once again, very good. I haven't found one yet with a scent that isn't for me. Like even the ones that aren't instant favorites are still very much in line with scents that I enjoy. Next up we have Rudolph, salted caramel, vanilla, sugar, and almond. That one is a little bit, it's got a nutty undertone which I really like, and you can smell the caramel. I think this one is going to have a very strong burn on it, and it doesn't have that really sickly note of caramel that I don't like. If it gets a little bit too butterscotchy, it's gone too far, but I think the nut really like calms that down. You are mean, Mr. Grinch. Apple, cinnamon, cloves, tonka, vanilla, coconut, and amber. That one I can smell the apple again. A little bit fresher than a baked candle. Obsessed with the design on this one with it being a Grinch candle. Very nice. A Christmas Carol. Cranberries, elderberries, orange peel, gala apple, and juniper berries. Oh yeah. Not, once again, not a classic Christmas scent. A little on the fruity side, but I'm a big fan. I love that one. For those of you who don't know what kind of candles I like, I'm definitely more on the sweet side. I like my vanillas. I like tonka. I like amber for the depth. I like apple is one of my favorite scents. Coconut is one of my favorites. I like baked good candles as long as they don't go too hard on like the butterscotchy richness of it. So if you are thinking of picking up candles based on my recommendation, those are the ones that I enjoy the most. And then if I'm like, it's a candle that's not for me, it's normally going to be like fresh, citrus, herbal, like that kind of vibe, just to help you, because obviously you guys can't smell them, but I want you to make good purchase decisions. This one is Bar Humbug. Love the label on this. And it is mint, peppermint, candy, and caramel. I love a sweet mint scent. One of my favorite Nespresso pods is the peppermint pinwheel ones they do for Christmas. Oh, this is a little on the mintier side, but once again, you have that caramel that's kind of like bringing it down. It smells like a humbug. Obviously, all I want for Christmas is books, relatable. Pine, cool spruce, green leaves, woods, and frankincense. Oh, that one is like a little icy forest. A very typical like winter pine scent. All I got for Christmas was this candle, which is sad because all I wanted for Christmas was books. Mandarin, lemon, plum, saffron, cumin, cinnamon, nutmeg, musk, woods, and vanilla. Ooh, this is a little more on the herby side, maybe. I guess it's the lemon I can smell along with like the woods. I think this one's going to have a strong burn on it. The Nutcrackers Enchantments. This one is gingerbread, cinnamon, clove, vanilla, and almond. Oh yeah. That's a favourite. I love me a gingerbread scent. I feel like I have to narrow it down to 2 favourites, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to do it because right now I have 5. Season's Greetings, buttery cookie dough, frosted sugary icing, Christmas spice, and vanilla. Yes, that is lighter than I expected it to be, and I do enjoy that one. That one's good. Mistletoe Kisses, pine leaves, lime, sweet red peppers, basil, cinnamon, jasmine, lily clove, amber, cedarwood, sandalwood, and patchouli. Oh, this one's a little bit on the fresh side. I like that. Mean Girls, Jingle Bell Rock. Apple, oak, balsam, fir, pine, cinnamon, and clove. That one is like a classic Christmas scent. It's more of like not a fresh apple. I can smell like the apple in the woods as opposed to like a crisp apple or a sweet apple. Home Alone with my books. This one is baked gingerbread, spicy ginger, cinnamon orange, buttery biscuit, and sugary vanilla. Oh yes, this one is spicier than the Nutcracker one. This is more of a sweet gingerbread. This one's a little bit spicier. And then our final candle is one of these smaller tins, and it is Santa Baby. And the scent is pink pepper, cardamom, frankincense, lemon, clove, patchouli, lily, apple, plum, raspberry, amber, tobacco, cedarwood, and musk. So I'm expecting spicy. Oh yeah, but like, oh, that's a real good spicy. It smells vaguely alcoholic. I like that one. A very good selection from Lunar Bookish Flames candles. Manos was right. The majority of these are hits for me. My favorites are these 5. Can I narrow it? Well, that's 4. There's another one here. Can I narrow it down to 2? Let's see. I think that my no, I can only narrow it down to 3. My 3 favorites are Christmas Carol, Night Before Christmas, and the Nutcracker's Enchantments. Now remember, if you want to grab any of these from Lunar Bookish Flames candles, you only have a limited time to do so. Please use my code Becca15 to get 15% off your order if you would like to check them out. Trying to keep the rubbish out of shot, but it's getting difficult. So to wrap us up, we just have the Broken Binding books. I'm going to start off with this one because this is the one that I think is my anticipated release, my most anticipated release of the year, and we will save the subscription for last because I have no idea what that looks like. These are ones, both of them, that I purchased myself. I'm not a rep at all for Broken Binding. I'm gonna like spread these guys out a smidge if I can. They're getting a bit much. So as usual with Broken Binding books, this has come wrapped, and it does say on the front that it is of course The Strength of the Few by James Islington. I don't think that this is any kind of special edition. I think I just pre-ordered it from the Broken Binding because they were the first ones to say that their edition had a reversible dust jacket. It does have a lilac edge though. I know that there is an edition with just a white edge, but I don't know how special this one is. And under the dust jacket, we have a cover that matches the original without a typo, thankfully. Sorry to the US, you guys got the typo editions. So this series is, oh, I don't, how do we feel about that mark down the edge? Is that worth emailing about, or am I being a baby? Let me know. To be fair, this is not like a special edition, and I am going to read it, so a little mark on the edge. Oh, there's a scratch there as well. We'll see what I decide to do about that. But anyway, this is a series that is kind of like Red Rising meets Brandon Sanderson. We are following a guy called Viz, who is an orphan. He lives in, I think it is like an orphanage, and this is once again a hierarchical system. So it's actually based on a pyramid scheme, and the people at the bottom seed will, which is literally like will to live, strength, enthusiasm, to the people in the pyramid above them. And he is adopted by a man who is a Quintus, which I think means he's on the 5th level out of 8 in this pyramid. Yeah, level 5 of 8. And this guy adopts him because he notices that Viz has a unique skill set that is going to allow him to infiltrate this academy that trains like the best and brightest of the elite, to figure out whether the leader of the academy has anything to do with the death of the brother of his adoptive father. And he's also at the same time contacted by a rebellion who start asking him for information because they want to topple this hierarchical system. So he's kind of like a triple agent almost, because he's masquerading as a student, but also he's reporting back to his adoptive father and also a rebellion. Absolutely loved book 1, my favorite book of last year. Really excited to get to this one, but I do want to reread The Will of the Many so that I'm like more enthusiastic and ready to go into book 2. And I'm also currently reading the Lycanius trilogy by James Islington, so I think it makes sense for me to read the final book in that before I start going back into this series. And then the final thing that we have is the Broken Binding sci-fi and fantasy subscription book for November. So like I said, this is a bi-monthly subscription. I'm very excited about the selections. I'm happy with the last one. Was like, okay, it actually sounds like a good book, but I think it was an odd choice. It was a like The Witcher prequel by R.J. Sapkowski. This one is once again by a very well-known sci-fi author, but it's independent to any of the other authors' work, I think. And the next one is a book that I was kind of anticipating anyway. It's just the additions that I'm not sure about. And saying that, I was very, very pleasantly surprised by the addition of the Witcher prequel. So I'm a little bit more excited to see what this one looks like. It is a little bit of a slimmer one. To be fair, the Witcher prequel was pretty slim. And the theme for this month was Unravel Reality. Just refresh myself what the regular cover of this book looks like. I didn't know that the author's other work was pretty well liked. I don't think it's necessarily one I would gravitate towards in terms of the standard cover. And the Broken Binding cover is very, very different. So I will overlay the original cover over the top so that you guys can see the difference. I think they've kept a pretty similar colour scheme, but otherwise it's completely different. I don't love it. I don't hate it, and that's the thing, like I'm feeling quite conflicted about it because I don't think it's bad. I just don't think that this style of cover is to my particular taste. It's essentially the difference between this cover and the original cover of The Will of the Many. I much prefer the style of the original cover as opposed to like heavily illustrated ones, but then it also depends on like the illustration style and stuff. I don't know. I do like the printed edge on here. We have a little sticker, which is quite common with broken binding books, I think. I like the end pages. And then we also have foiled naked hardcover, which I also like. It's literally just a personal preference thing. I know a bunch of people really, really like broken binding editions. I think aesthetically, they're just really not my favorite. But the kind of books that they feature in their subscriptions and the kind of books that they enjoy are ones that I think I'm going to really like. So yeah, I don't like this as much as I like the edition of The Witcher. I do still think it is a very nice looking edition, but personal preference wise, it's not one that I would pick up. Like if I read this book and I loved it and I wanted to buy a special edition to look pretty on my shelves, based on my personal taste, I wouldn't buy this one. Hey, so I'm editing and I realized that I was so hung up on trying to gently tell you guys why I don't love the way that this edition looks that I forgot to read you guys the synopsis, so I'm back to do exactly that. So it says, at 14, Julia Z became infamous as the orphan hacker, a teenage prodigy who broke the law and captivated a nation. Now years later, she's trying to leave that life behind, hiding in the quiet suburbs of Boston. But her fragile anonymity is shattered when a desperate lawyer bursts into her life, begging for her to help to find his wife, a celebrated artist who uses artificial intelligence to craft shared dreams for thousands of followers and who has been kidnapped by a criminal syndicate. Against her better judgment, Julia embarks on a harrowing journey across the country, drawn ever deeper into the shadows of the American dream. As she tracks the criminals, she confronts not only their perilous schemes, but also the ghosts of her own past. Resourceful, relentless, and deeply contemptuous of authority, Julia must dig deep into her unique skill sets and fractured psyche to uncover the truth, and to hold on to hope when everything around her descends into darkness. All that we see or seem blends high-stakes intrigue with profound speculation about the future of art and society in the shadow of artificial intelligence. How poignant. So that is my November unboxing. Damn, she was thick. I am, of course, going to grab all of the wonderful editions. I'm going to try and get these in a stack. We have quite a few thick books in here, but these are all of the books from today's unboxing. How am I going to shelve these, guys? Some of these are so thick I'm going to have to take 2 books off the shelves to get these on. Down in my comments, let me know which one of these books you guys are most excited about. I think in terms, obviously I'm most excited about like the strength of the few, but if we take that out of the equation, I think the book that I'm the most excited about based on the synopsis could actually be Fallen City, which is wild because I don't even want to read it until I got the Fairyloot edition. I will flip this around so that you guys can see the edges. I can't hold these. Let me know what your favorite edges as well. I think in terms of editions, my favorite edition, well, we know what we're choosing between, so let's just get rid of some of these. Fairyloot knocked it out of the park this month. My 2 favorite editions are, of course, Fallen City and The Tower of the Tyrant. I don't know which one of these I prefer. I love this so much. If they were both on a shelf side by side and I had to pick one based on cover alone, I think it would be Fallen City. So we're gonna go with Fallen City, but both of these neck and neck, absolutely obsessed. Fairyloot, you killed it. So thank you so much for tuning in for my November unboxing. I know it's a little bit of a long one. I do hope that you've enjoyed it. Remember that the links to all of the subscription boxes, the books like from the publisher, Lunar, Bookish, Flames, Candles, all of that stuff will be linked down below. A lot of them will have both their like social handles and also the websites, as well as any discount codes that I might have. But aside from that, guys, I do hope you've enjoyed this video if you've made it this far. If you have, please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna. If you head into my description box, you'll also find a link to my Goodreads, my Instagram, and my Patreon if you'd like to follow me on any of those. But that's it from me today, guys. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go and nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.